Welcome to Eye on Hong Kong. This is Harminder.
Hi, this is Key.
And hello, I'm Lee.
And this is episode 7 of our podcast. And, we had our annual
week.
Yeah, we had another week of craziness, but this is Hong Kong. It's normal. July 1st rally. We had it.
Yeah. And how many people we had?
Okay.
Officially, or according to the police.
Who do you want to quote here? Because we have 4 sets of numbers. We got the organizer saying 510,000.
Yeah.
We got the police saying 98,000 something. We got HKU saying what? Between
140 to 170, something like that.
Something like that. And then we have SCMP today doing their own scientific poll. Scientific
counting.
Yeah, whatever. And they had a number between like 185,000, something around there. So what I do is I take the number from the HKU poll and the organizers and just get to the middle, 350,000.
Wow.
Because seriously, 510,000.
But the number 510,000 is deliberately rounded up to be bigger than it was in 2003.
Exactly, 510,000.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So why not 500,001?
But Lee, you were there, and what do you think? How many?
Well,
people
I can
there?
only compare it with the march last year, and compared with last year, I would have said it was about twice as large as it was last year. 2 to 3 times as many people as last year. Now, I don't know what the official count was last year. 100,000, 120?
400 some odd thousand.
Yeah, 400 something, according to the organizer.
Yeah.
But I think last year, according to the police, it's only about like 60,000 or something.
Like that.
Yeah.
But it was I would say probably twice to 3 times as many people as last year.
Okay, bottom line, big number. And afterwards there was do you want to put in your how you were there, Key?
Yeah. What about it?
What was the atmosphere like? What kind of feeling did you get? Like a sense of what the protesters wanted?
It seems to me that people quite focus on the white paper still, and they're still quite angry about it. And another thing is because on Sunday we have the result of the civil referendum thing, and then people really want to push forward these civil nomination proposal, and especially like scholarism had these they got huge fans and supporters, and so I think most people would like to express their opinion that they will say no to the white paper and they want civil nomination. Of course, there are some other groups they're fighting for other rights, but mainly most people went there because of that, I think.
All right.
And what do you think, Ali?
I had the feeling of history being made. I had something of a historical feeling there. I was thinking, this will go down in the annals of Hong Kong history. I'm glad I'm here. I sensed irritation, annoyance, but a very high level of prevailing patience that people were prepared to put up with pretty much anything, and they were not going to go home. So it was boiling hot, it peed down with rain, but people still stayed there. And they were stuck in the park for hours. The police were useless in terms of crowd control. I'm sorry, but they were. But people still stood there and still went through with it. So,
how many hours you waited in the park?
We were in the park for nearly 3 hours, and we were only in block 3, so we were the third lot to be let out.
I'm very smart, as usual. And
I take a vote.
We don't have pretty photos. And at least I started from the main library outside the park, so I just cut into the queue, and I don't have to wait. But of course, outside Sogo, then in Causeway Bay, every year people have to wait there for very, very long. But this year is the longest time that I have waited for in that area, and it's certainly it rained, and then it got all wet, and then the sun came out again, and then you got the rain again, and everybody.
It's Hong Kong weather. It's very normal.
Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah.
But that bottleneck is very important, because last year there was a problem with that. They complained to the police, and somebody knocked down a barrier. It was exactly the same this year. When we walked past that particular point, there were police holding up notices saying this is a police cordon, do not cross. And if you charge us, then we'll charge you. And it was in exactly the same spot, right outside Sogo. So why doesn't anybody learn from this? This happened exactly the same time, exactly the same place. You would have thought somebody would learn. Why don't they?
They do need to open an extra lane. I do also understand the police saying we need to keep one lane open for emergency vehicles. You never know, somebody might pass out, and if there's no lane open, you can't get the ambulance through, right? So that'd be a disaster if that something like that happened. But they only open 2 lanes. So they can open a third, whether it's a 4-lane road, Hennessy Road.
But from my experience in the protests, even if there is sometimes people got hurt or they really need the ambulance, the protesters will immediately just make the way for the ambulance.
Sure, but
so I don't really see the necessity that they have to keep one lane.
Yeah, but let's say something happens in the crowd, it's pandemonium, it's chaos, if that lane is not there to take away somebody who's injured or needs assistance, it could be grounds for a lawsuit too somewhere down the line if against somebody. May not be the police, could be somebody. And it's better just keep one lane open so they can close the 3rd lane and the tram lanes. What do you need tram service for doing the annual protest? I think
for people to take picture for the tourists.
Yeah,
one of the annual attraction.
Yeah, one day of tram service disruption is not going to be the end of the world. There's still the buses that are taking alternate routes. There's taxis.
That's low anyway.
Yeah, it's cheap though. And then afterwards there was the sit-in. By Scholarism and Federation of Students.
Yes.
Right? At first, did they go straight? No. One half went to C.Y. Leung's office, Cheif Executive's office. And the other half sat in Cheif Road, blocking traffic.
Right.
And they both promised we'll be out of here by 8 a.m.
Yes.
Now,
I know scholarism saying that they have to wait until CY Leung came back to the office.
Right, which is about 9 a.m. So let's just go with that.
But no one go there to work anyway. It's not the office for this financial institute or the bank. So it didn't really affect anything.
No.
Scholarism people doing that.
Exactly, and but when they sat in Cheddar Road, they let them sit until about 3-4 a.m. Apparently, the police told the press, "Get out of here, or you'll be arrested too," which is completely. Yeah, I completely condemn that. You do not have the right to tell the press that you cannot be there, or you will be arrested. It's a public street.
Right.
They have the right to be there. Anybody can break out their camera and record the police.
Yes.
It's not a crime. And they hauled them away physically. Relatively peaceful. I mean, I didn't see like batons or pepper spray or anything coming out, thank goodness. But police were using pressure point tactics to get them to... Because what the protesters were doing were obviously stiffening up and locking arms. And the way to get them to loosen up is to hit key pressure points. This is in their training.
Yeah.
And they were doing that. And then they were hauling him off. I found it hilarious when they were hauling off Albert Ho, I have to say.
Why?
I don't know. It just looked weird.
But he's quite big, fat guy.
Yeah.
A stocky, short guy.
It looked like a walrus being
It's like moving
away.
a potato.
Yeah, potato. Yeah. But still, Albert Ho, we love you. Just saying.
I don't.
But it was just fun. And then Lee Chuk-yeon got dragged out. I mean, these are legislators being dragged out by the police. Not dragged even, just carried away like sacks of potatoes. It looked funny on TV. But they used pressure point. They were twisting arms apparently as well, which is also a police tactic.
It
hurts a lot, especially when you're in cuffs. You can break someone's arm. It's happened before in other countries.
But by using that technique?
Yeah, they've broken arms before.
Because I asked the police and then they said that it wouldn't hurt anyone. It wouldn't cause any damage or injury to anyone if they using the twisting arm techniques.
You can twist it to a point, but you can twist it so much that it can break. I was watching a YouTube video. There was an anti-abortionist rally going on in the States. Whether you agree with them or not, what the cop did was twist so far that he broke the protester's arm. And that is wrong. Whether you agree or disagree, nobody deserves that kind of, punishment. That's punishment. That's
true.
that's giving them, some sort of,
I
judgment right there. You deserve to have your arm broken because you're taking part in this protest.
I was talking to the police and at that time, and then they said it wouldn't hurt you guys, and it just
really? Can I try it on them?
It just gives you some pain, and I was like, "What?
Yeah,
You
pain.
even get pain?
Pain
Are you torturing
compliance.
me?"
We're into pain compliance. Are we like cattle, where you're going to start prodding us with cattle prods and saying it's pain compliance? It's pain compliance. It's wrong. But still, overall, I'm glad it didn't turn into something worse. But still, the police don't need to resort to any type of physical actions which causes pain, because I think the protesters were ready to be hauled away, and they showed that.
Right.
How many actually got hauled away? Because
all of them.
The majority of them were still there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then were arrested when they
Because
stood
they're
up to
taking them
leave.
slowly.
Yeah.
It takes 4 cops to take away 1 protester.
And that takes 5 minutes per protester per 5 cops. So
That's-
what does that mean in terms of 10,000?
At some point, they stopped, and I think at around 4 a.m. and they stopped because they knew that they couldn't remove everyone. But after that, then they tried to remove people in the morning again. So, but by that time, people actually, the organizers actually said that they will end the protest, the sit-in protest at 8. So
They said we will be gone by 8 a.m. and they should have waited, the police, until 8 a.m. And if they did not disperse, okay.
So why
on my way.
under whose instructions were they doing this? Was it because it's a public order offence because they didn't apply for a license to protest? Is that do they have a
Your
control of order duty to do that?
I don't say it is a license because what they have to do is that they have to give a notice to the police and
receive a letter of no objection.
That's
then,
right. So they didn't apply for that. So therefore they were technically
and they
breaking
weren't
the
going to
law.
get it.
They weren't
for
gonna
sitting
get
in the
it.
middle
That's
of the
right.
street.
when you're talking about the filing the notice, I actually quite against that. Even that in the Court of Final Appeal ruled that is constitutional. But before 1997, actually Chris Patton initiated to take out of that law because he says it's against the human rights to have the right to protest. But after 1997, they have it. After they passed this transitional legislative council, they reenact this law. So I don't agree with any.
But doesn't the basic law say that you have the freedom to
Of course.
protest?
Yeah.
So
Freedom to assembly or something. Yeah.
But then again, then they throw in the other ordinance saying that you're blocking a public street, that it's you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so if it's been to the Court of Final Appeal, that's it. They have the power to to reject a proposal for a protest if they want to.
They say people have to file a notice.
right.
Yeah. So, but I still don't think that is a right thing that people should. They don't have the right to reject you. I don't think they have to. They only can. We only have to notify the police, and the police make the appropriate arrangements. But if you say that they have the power to object the protest, then I would say that is violated the basic law of this right to or freedom of assembly.
Well, everybody should have a copy of the Basic Law at home, in my opinion, and study
It's
that
rubbish, though.
No, it may be rubbish, but is what we have right now.
It's all we've got.
It's all we've got. It's better than nothing. I'm reading a book right now that, trust me, if it wasn't for this, we were about to get something worse.
Worse than Basic Law.
Yeah. And once I finish the book, I plan to do a little review on the show, but give me another week. I'm a slow reader. And then afterwards, they detained him in Wangchuk-hang at a police academy because they didn't have jails big enough for that many protesters. Imagine what happens when full-scale Occupy Central happens. What are they going to do, just clear out a mall or something?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that well, Pacific Mall's close by, Central. Then they detained him, and apparently they were denied immediate water, going to the bathroom, and access to lawyers. They didn't get any of that until 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours after their arrest. Some of them, it varied.
The first bunch of people who got arrested at 3 a.m., they were, I think, they are released at around 9 a.m. After they were told to sign a paper that the police reserved the right to sue them. So basically, some people already released at 10 a.m. And
Yeah.
then, of course, because they have
Yeah.
another arrest in the 8 a.m., so they have to put on the procedure. I think there are about 9 lawyers, volunteer lawyers,
Right.
went there, but they were denied access to that.
Access. So
Yeah.
there are some violations right there.
Yeah,
for
not until
constitutional
other than-
violations.
Yeah, I do agree that it's a constitutional violation.
Yeah.
But then they didn't really charge most people.
Just give him a letter, warning letter.
Yeah.
But still, warning letter or not, when you're arrested by the police, you have a right to counsel,
Yeah.
right? So, and they were denied that for hours. Right there, that's wrong. So what can they do? Can they sue the police for their...
They can. I think the most they can do is to file a complaint to this complaint against police.
all that...
The IPCC,
Yeah,
Independent Police
not
Complaints
even
Commission.
IPCC don't. It doesn't take any independent cases. It only take case from referred by the internal investigation committee of the police.
So where do I have to go to complain?
To go
if I
to the
want
police to complain.
about the police?
Yes. Don't be silent.
Really?
We have to talk. It's a radio show.
It's a radio show, but that silence just like gave your answer right there about how.
So what
we
if you
feel.
go to the police to make a complaint against the police and the police say, I'm not going to take your complaint? How
Yeah.
do you complain about that?
Then every month, this police complaint office, they have to make a report to the IPCC. The IPCC will review their complaints and to see whether their rulings correct. So
I think this is wrong. I think we need an independent. But then again,
the IPCC is no longer independent.
but why they call IPI independent? IPCC.
I have no idea now because the new commissioner of IPCC, he has a very strong background of PLC.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
So it's independent for the police.
I think every year the IPCC will send someone to go to the protest of on 1st of July to observe, but this year they don't.
Observe from where?
They observe from everywhere to see whether the police has violated any rules or.
Let's
or
be
the
honest.
code.
They're not gonna look. The police are in a gang mentality. They're going to protect their own. Not gang in a bad way. I'm saying the mentality is that they would rather protect their own than see one of their own be, thrown out of the force or something like that. So they will try to cover for them. Maybe, maybe not. It's conjecture, but I'm just saying that is a possibility. It's happened before.
But the IPCC didn't really cover for them because last year when they sent someone to the protest and then the police also blocked the road, they didn't allow people to go out in Sogo. So IPCC criticized them that it's not correct that they don't allow the people to go out of the road. And so actually they quite effectively criticizing the police. But this year they didn't say anyone because of the new ones. New guys saying that, I don't know what I'm doing, so I don't do anything. It's really what he said. He really said, I don't know what I'm doing.
With that kind of accent as well.
No.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
And then after the detention, everything was done. Then we started to get the responses. And the response from the pro-establishment, the legislators, was pure condemnation. CY Leung, pure condemnation. Beijing said, we are not going to be moved by, because through the Global Times, the mouthpiece of the Communist Party, and the People's Daily said, these protests mean nothing, they're not going to sway anything, we're not going to get public nomination, none in any boo-boo. And then, from there, the question is, what now?
What can we do now?
What happens now? I mean, the protest is done. What now? That's the question.
I don't know.
No, I mean your
now.
opinion. I mean, what should happen now?
If you're talking about the civil nomination thing, then probably it would have to wait until the government responds to the public opinion. And next week, Wednesday, they will have the first report on the consultation.
And what should we expect from this consultation? Like, what will they release? The results or just a general
outline
of what they've received?
Yeah, it would be a general outline. But of course, I think they would take this opportunity to say no to civil nomination, saying that is against the law, is a violation of the basic law, whatever thing.
But could that be tested? Because I went to a round table recently about this, and they were saying because there's no mention of civil nomination in basic law doesn't mean it's against basic law, that you could have civil nomination to the nominating committee, so that's perfectly compliant with basic law. So is that itself going to be tested in the courts? Could it be?
At the end of the day, probably it will end up in court too.
Even if it does, though, the NPC can override it.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So it means nothing.
Yeah.
Even if the Court of Final Appeal says, no, civil nomination is allowed, the NPC can say, sorry, we interpret it as is not allowed. That's the end of that.
So what the hell are we doing?
That's a good question.
But I think one of the local lyricists said about what we are doing, he says that I have to prove...
Local who?
Local lyricist. He's write the lyrics.
Oh, I see. Lyricist. Okay.
Canton pop song.
Okay.
And he said the reason why he voiced out his opinion is to prove that he didn't kill himself. He was murdered. So basically making a point that saying that we don't give in until the last minute.
Oh, I see. I understand. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's nice that celebrities, a few of them came out to the rally as well.
Actually,
yeah, and I think more need to come out and not be afraid of not getting work or whatever, because this is your future as well, your kids' future. If we don't have something, because our parents failed us in the 80s by not speaking up, saying that we don't well, then again, the people who were with the joint declaration and the drafting of the basic law, it's been confirmed that the business leaders said the unwashed masses should not be allowed to have a say in their future. We're the intellectuals, we're the smart people, we have the most money, so we should be able to, because you know, reading the history, I saw a lot of switching of allegiances. They were with the colonial power. Once they saw, okay, well, things are screwed there, suddenly I'm pro-China. You know, I just want my money. You know, that's basically what happened. But again, I digress. But celebrities need to voice their opinion more. And I'm glad there are a few coming out. Denise Ho, I think, was one of them,
and Anthony Wong.
And then you had Anthony Wong's been vocal before, but I'm glad he was there.
Anthony Wong, the singer, and Anthony Wong, the actor.
My bad. There are two of them. And then Erica Yoon, of course, is the chairman of the People Power. She's a former model. I think she's still a model. I see her photos on it. Anyways, point is that celebrities need to come out more. It just gives more weight to the argument. And in my opinion, what should happen now is wait. Continue the information war. Continue the pushing the side of civil nomination in a form. It's not going to be perfect, in my opinion. At the end of the day, we're not. There's not. It's a daydream to think that we're going to get full civil nomination. That we have this. I think the best compromise is going to be a third of the nominating committee be nominated through the public somehow, whether it's direct election or it could be political. There's going to be a compromise. There has to be. Otherwise, both sides, if they continue to stonewall, we'll get nowhere. And then we'll get nothing.
But one thing I'm quite angry, get me quite angry, was the Democratic Party. They saying that they will withdraw from the alliance of this.
I worry about that.
I actually think that if they don't support the alliance, then why did they join and why did they push forward the proposal?
They have their beef with People Power and the League of Social Democrats. That's why they don't like them.
I mean, they should get over these private matters over the People's Power.
Well,
let's focus on the big picture to get what they want.
You know what? I was reading in the paper, and nobody is united. I was reading, scholarism is also like, even though they got voted, the True Alliance, the civil referendum had the Alliance for True Democracy's proposal winning. They still weren't exactly happy with that from Joshua Wong's remarks, from what I read.
From I heard.
What did you hear?
I heard that they concur with the result, and then they will say the alliance really got all the votes, so they respect the result.
Yeah,
But what they saying that because 3 proposals consist of a civil nomination, so they say most people wants this civil nomination.
No, I of course people want civil nomination. It's just that there isn't a. The only time I've ever seen Pan Democrats in a long time united was when they just walked out on CY Leung's during the Q&A.
That's what happened yesterday.
Yeah. Right, but the thing is that they all need to just stop. Basically, measuring who's the biggest. If you know what I mean. All right, they got to get out of this mentality that my proposal rules, your proposal. We all agree that there needs to be civil nomination. Agree on that. Stop saying, I don't agree totally with that one, and I don't agree totally that. Of course, there's going to be differences, but get to the goal. Get Beijing to concede that there has to be civil nomination, and then beat each other with hammers to see which is the best one.
That's the message I
politically,
got
not physically,
from scholarism after the announcement of the poll results. That people actually, like even People's Power, they also agree with the alliance proposal now. So what I don't see someone. I actually see the DP. They don't. They are the only one who
DP
wants
leaving.
It's and that's all on the basis of a personal disagreement, is it? The Democratic Party?
Yeah, they. I mean, I've heard Emily Lau just basically say People Power is actually paid by the communists.
I don't think so.
No, I don't know if that's true. I mean, give us some evidence if that's true. I don't go on hearsay, but that's the level of hatred to the point they're saying that they're paid agents to make everybody else look bad.
But they were elected, right?
Yeah. Well, but anyway, so
enough said.
What I'm saying that is that these people of these older generation people from DP, they really should listen to the young people because they are the people that are going to live in Hong Kong. And apart from that, Anson Chan also make some comments on the poll results, saying that the civil nomination is not a must. That's not right because according to the spokesperson of the alliance, they say their proposal consists of 3 parts and every single part is important. And so if Anson Chan tried to interpret it as civil nomination can be eliminated, I think she's wrong.
But then her proposal didn't have it, right?
I don't even know what her proposal is. Don't bother.
Yeah, I mean...
Go home and take care of your grandchildren.
I know. Yeah, it's interesting that she's trying to stay relevant in the picture. Why? I mean, it's nice to have a voice out there from a person who was in government, but I don't know. I hope there are no ulterior motives to her.
Maybe it's the legacy factor.
Oh yeah, could be. Could be. I mean, it's not like Chris Patton can come back here and start fighting for democracy. Be like, interference. At least Anson Chan is. A local.
Sometimes I don't really get it because when someone's so old, and then they usually.
What's wrong with old?
No, I'm just saying it's a fact that she's old, right? And
you are not old.
If you want to leave some legacy, then they should leave something good and something powerful. But now she's trying to negotiate with CCP. I don't think negotiation is the way anymay.
No, you can't.
But is she? She's trying to negotiate with the CCP.
I think that's why she's keep proposing some mild way for this political reform. She wants to talk now with the CCP.
You have to talk to them. Let's be honest. I mean, as much as nobody likes the communists, without their approval, we get nothing. That's how it's written. I don't agree with it.
They don't back down from the
history.
Then
we don't back down, but there has to be a compromise. They have to come to the table as much as the pandems have to come to the table and work out a deal. Then it's not going to be perfect.
Then talking about the negotiation tactics, then you don't put out a mild proposal on the table for the first start, right? You always start with the one that you really truly believe in on the table when you negotiate, and then you make your concession.
Yeah, concession. No, I agree with you there.
But now, what Anson Chan is doing is that she's putting out a proposal so mild that without civil nomination.
Right.
I don't think it's the right tactics.
Yeah, I don't think they should have left. I mean, you need to put aside your personal differences, and people power needs to stop attacking them as well. They need to stop going to their rallies and shouting them down and stuff like that. Yes, they made a mistake in 2012, agreeing to that POS of a proposal. I mean, did nothing. It did nothing. It increased the legislature by 10 more seats. 5 functional constituencies which should be abolished by now,
right?
And 5 of the directly elected. But let's get over it and let's get to 2017. And I mean, keep them on a short leash, but do not attack them. I think it's done. It looks.
I agree.
It's too divisive.
It's already done. And we also have to talk about the donation on the 1st of July. I think it somehow shows the
donations to the
political party in the store on 1st of July, March, and then of course Occupy Central, they got most of the donation.
And what was the number? Do you know?
I think it's over.
It's 1.3 million.
Yeah, more than that, right?
No, I read
1.3.
1.3 million.
What about scholarism? I think they come second.
Perhaps, but they're very popular.
Yeah.
In a poll, they've come in the top 10 of the most popular, political organizations in the city.
Even they don't have any legislative members.
Exactly. But no, I'm so happy that it's a bunch of teenagers that care about their future and not about the latest iPhone.
I am quite impressed by them. In fact, they have done very good job in propaganda and promotion too. They
agree or disagree. They're doing. I'm glad they're in the arena. To fight.
Are they being advised by professional PR people? I know they have a lawyer, but do they?
I think they're doing a better job than these political parties.
I agree. I mean, they completely outfox CY over national.
I don't even think they have a lawyer. I don't think so. Why would you think so?
You know why? There was a lawyer on TV yesterday supporting
scholarism?
Yeah, scholarism's lawyer, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
no.
Joshua Wong's lawyer.
No, he's not scholarism.
Not scholarism.
Yeah,
it was
because...
Joshua Wong's. Okay. Yeah, it was Joshua Wong. Yeah. I think it was about him being pushed during the rally. I mean, why didn't anybody catch video of that? Yeah,
right.
He gets pushed down to the ground by a cop.
Yeah.
But nobody has it on video? You are one of the biggest targets in the city now. But you have to expect violence against you, mild or extreme. You got to get those video cameras and phones. Your phones are not just there to play Candy Crush. Your phone has to be used as a tool.
They really do play Candy Crush.
Well, I'm just saying, it's a tool with you. You whip it out and start recording. When you're confronting the police, start recording. They can record us. They got it on their lapels now, apparently, a little camera. So you should be, especially Joshua Wong.
I don't know too, because actually when Joshua Wong got pushed down, he was near these rehearsal. Rehearsal is a organization that they record all these protests and social movement in Hong Kong. They have all the camera just next to it. So I don't know why.
Just didn't happen to catch that?
I don't know why.
That's strange.
Yeah. But so apart from that, then we talk about the donation to the political party. And you can see that the DP, they don't really get a lot anymore.
Oh, yeah, they're the black sheep now.
Yeah.
When they used to be the crown jewel of the Democratic Party. They kind of screwed themselves, unfortunately. I wanted to also talk about the responses by some of the pro-establishment legislators during the Q&A with the Cheif Executive, Priscilla Leung and Elizabeth Quat. Their whole shtick was, think of the children. What kind of example are they setting for the children? I mean, that is one of the most oldest propaganda tricks of all time, is when there's something you don't like, just say it's bad for the children. Come on, Quat and Leung, we see through that.
Yeah,
okay. It's actually good. It's actually good that teenagers and young people are actually trying to take their future into their own hands, because your generation, that was our parents' generation, completely failed in securing a better democratic future for this for Hong Kong. They just said, oh, just get along, just shut up and do your thing and get along. Well, look where it's gotten us, to the point that incrementally the CPG is trying to take over this city, by slowly eroding democratic principles in this city. I mean, calling judges administrators is a slap in the face of what we hold dear in the city, and that's judicial independence.
I honestly have no idea where did this Priscilla Leung get her law degree.
I know Elizabeth Kwok bought hers, apparently.
And she actually proposed to form a private team of volunteer by the citizens to handle the Occupy Central.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, she actually said we need volunteer police.
Yeah, it's like
could you imagine?
It's like called vigilantism.
Well, no, well.
It's like SS from the Nazis.
See, there you go. That's the image that conjured up in my head. Is it what you want youth brigades out there now? You want them goose stepping out there? For the for the pro-establishment. That was disgusting. The cops can handle the protesters. They just need to tighten up their
exactly.
tactics.
She's like slapping the face of this Secretary of Security, saying that you cannot do a job. But
basically, what she wants is the PLA out there and start busting heads.
I think she wants to have more money from PRC for this making people to have their harmony. So I think that's why
you can't buy harmony. You can't buy harmony. You can buy it up to a point. Eventually, it boils over.
Well, at least they can make people not to speak. And
who funds the DAB? Is it funded by the PRC?
Oh, they have every year they have this annual dinner for this auction, and then this.
They sell crap for high prices magically.
Yeah,
and this crap is bought by
like $10 million for this crappy
calligraphy.
Yeah.
And
some people would just donate.
Yeah, it's not worth it, but you know what it really is.
That's why they. Anyway.
Yeah, let's leave it at that. CY's Q&A. Pandems rushed him when he was entering the chambers. I thought Albert Chan and Ray Chan, Albert Chang and Ray Chan were going to rush him, but actually they were the ones just walking up to him, and it was the rest of the Pandems that kind of just went right up to him. And of course he went off to the side and got to him, and Albert Chang was throwing paper stars at him.
Oh yeah,
Sing means star, so it was throwing it at CY and
it means in Cantonese
the finance committee chairman.
It means Sing. It means the star.
Okay, we need to beep that, Ron. Mark the time.
I think it means the star.
So beat that again. We've turned PG, man. We've turned PG. Yes, we're trying to get a wider audience. And they rushed him.
Yeah.
And it was unprecedented. They're actually united in something for once.
I talked with Ray Chan, and then Ray Chan told me that they didn't. He
had no idea.
They didn't plan for it. It's just that they went out and then they saw that. Oh, what? How come
they saw Frederick Fung get up, and then they all went up.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what happened? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think it was great. But one thing I will condemn is Raymond Wong, Mad Dog Raymond Wong, throwing that glass at CY Leung.
His English name is Raymond Wong?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know that. People only.
This is an English podcast, man. You must know all this information.
Wong Yuk-man.
It's Wong Yuk-man, but his English name is Raymond.
Why will you condemn him?
Because he threw a glass.
He threw a glass at
and failed to aim the target.
Oh, come on!
That's the point we condemn.
And if he hit CY Leung square in the head.
I hope that he didn't just throw the glass. I hope he threw this a knife and right at his head.
Okay, let's come on.
Let's come on.
No matter how much we dislike CY Leung, we cannot have any harm come to him. Why? It makes him one. It'll make him a martyr for their cause. Okay, it makes him a victim. Exactly. That's the first reason. You don't want harm. Two, it's not right. You again, if you use violence, you immediately lose the moral high ground.
So you think that now they
The
have
paper
already
stars
lost,
were fine.
They lost the moral high ground because of
Raymond
war?
Wong has.
What about the other people? The
No,
Pandem
they're
people?
fine. What do they do?
Mm.
What did the Pandems do? Nothing. They just came up with their placards. That's it. What did Albert Cheng do? He threw stars, paper, little cushy stars at him. No big deal.
And of course, these celebrities, Dennis Ho and Anthony Wong,
Yeah.
they made the comment on that yesterday too. They're saying that we have a lot more issue to talk about, and this CY Leung asked us to only look at one tiny piece of glass and completely shift the attention of these protesting on 1st of July.
Yeah, but they gave him that option, didn't
Yeah.
they? If they hadn't have thrown the glass, then he wouldn't
If
have
he
had
didn't
that
throw
option.
that glass, then he wouldn't have had the opportunity to say, look at this broken piece of glass. It could have been stuck in my neck, and I could have been bleeding to death on the ground. I mean, you see, you don't want to give
Then I
them...
applaud.
No,
Yeah.
stop it. Stop it. I'm just saying that you don't want to give them the excuse to say, look, see how violent this guy is? That's what Occupy Central is going to be.
Or for some people from the pandemic saying that someone actually was told to do that and to collaborate with someone on the stage.
Okay,
It's only rumor.
it's a rumor, so
Yeah.
we'll keep it at that. And then the cops were called to LegCo
Go.
without the president of the chambers knowing, Jasper Zhao. He didn't even know. At first he was trying to defend it all, and then all of a sudden he was like, well, actually, I guess it was wrong.
I always thought that they were not allowed to go in.
Not without the express approval of the president.
Yeah, but just President today said that he didn't see any
He didn't know?
violation. Yeah, but
No, he didn't even know that they were there.
But who
The
called the
executive,
police?
the CY Leung's people called him. That's been confirmed. That was in the paper.
God.
Yeah, CY Leung's paper called him. An act of violence just happened in the chambers, but the cops cannot come into the chambers without the approval of the president.
And Rimsky Yun made the comment today saying that Rimsky Yun. And he made the comment saying that because the police had to do the investigation, they have the right to go into the Legislative Council. That is,
But isn't there something called parliamentary privilege?
Yeah.
They're not allowed to do that. In the UK, when that happened, the police investigated one MP's office, and it led to the downfall of the Speaker.
So, I'm
Because of that.
not clear on the law
I'm not
or the
clear on
ordinances,
that, but
I from what I read is
Yeah.
that you have to inform the president
Yeah.
before you can start your investigation, and that didn't happen. So somebody has to pay hell for that. And finally, during that Q&A, James Tien of the Liberal Party actually asked him, if we do not pass universal suffrage legislation for 2017 of the CE election, will you step down? And of course, CY Leung said no with a smile. And it's no coincidence that no top level officials went to the Liberal Party fundraiser last year. But James Tien also supported his competition Henry Tang during the elections. But the point is that I have to give credit where credit is due. Thank you, James Tien, for actually bringing up a relevant question during the Q&A when the pandemics weren't there.
Yeah.
Okay, at least we know the answer to that. And then afterwards, even in press conferences, he was actually saying, I think he should step down, especially after this protest. He clearly sees that the government's become ungovernable under CY Leung, and that he should step down. And I don't think it would help Carrie Lam being the CE. I mean, they'll just condemn her just as much.
I can only see that people are really, really angry about the government, and you can actually see today from the Legislative Council, they have this filibuster on every single thing.
Yeah, it started from yesterday. It started on Wednesday.
From Wednesday, everything now because people's power.
They're using what? They're actually using rules of procedure using quorum calls.
Yes,
which take 15 minutes a pop.
Yeah.
They'll talk for about 10 minutes, and then Albert Cheng or another people power legislator would say, yes, President, I would like a quorum call, and then you got to go through it for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
The hilarious thing was that pro-establishment legislators were complaining to the president, saying, President, can't you use your powers to let us have a lunch break? Lunch break. And Jasper Junk's just laughing his butt off at the where he's sitting. And he's like, you can be creative. And then they're like, can we bring it to our desk at least? He's like, you can eat in 15 minutes. But if I eat fast, it's bad for my health.
It's a fat guy. He's a very fat legislator.
It was. I haven't had breakfast. I haven't had anything to eat since 8 o'clock. It was like 1 o'clock almost. And then he's like, I'm worried about, I think he was pointing at Christopher Chung, and I'm worried about his health. He could just drop right there if he doesn't get anything to eat. And he's like, you can eat in 12 minutes.
I think from the size of his tummy, he can consume himself for like at least 3 days without eating anything.
Like a camel with humps.
Exactly.
They can keep themselves alive for a long time. And so yeah, then during the finance committee meeting today, which is the 4th of July.
Do they have a finance committee every Friday?
Every Friday night, yeah. The times vary. I thought it was starting at 4, so and then I just went to the website and it was like 3:30. Okay, I don't know how.
But it lasts for 6 hours usually.
It can.
Yeah.
Until their stuff is adjourned.
Yeah.
But what happened? The meeting starts and the first thing was like Ng Sing, the finance committee chairman, stepped down. And he's like, no, I rule.
I won't step down.
I have
Such a dictator.
I have a mandate from no one, and because he's unelected.
I like a zero vote.
He's unelected in the functional constituency of finance, and 4 legislators. I think it was Sid Ho, Claudia Mo, Gary Fan, and Lee Chuk-yen went up to him with red cards, like a soccer referee, football
World
referee.
Cup. Finally, his
I guess there you go. I guess they're into the spirit, and they had giant red cards saying, you're ejected. But of course, he ejected them, and then eventually People Power got ejected, and the Raymond Wong got ejected, and the only person left there, I think, was Fernando Chung. That's it.
On what basis did he eject them? Just because they presented them with a red
rowdiness, not following procedure, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, misbehaving themselves.
Misbehaving.
So it's they always get kicked out. But the thing is that what I'm saying that they got so many legislators from the pro-establishment. How could they couldn't form the quorum? If they have enough members to form the quorum, right?
They're too busy counting their dollar bills. I mean,
what?
they're busy doing meeting. They're
having
meeting
lunch. They're hungry.
No. They're meeting their constituency. They're meeting. They're shaking hands and kissing babies.
Oh, I see. So they can't go to the legislature.
No, it's too much work.
Oh, I see. So that's
see, that's one thing I don't agree with. Is if you're a legislator, you should not be having a full-time job somewhere else. I don't agree with that. I think it should be part-time maximum.
After 4 years, then.
That's the risk you take.
Oh, but there's a good argument against what you just said, though. Okay. Because if you have people who are full-time politicians only, then they live in their own bubble and they don't.
They live in their own bubble now.
Well, they don't. But you need to have real people who've got real jobs and real responsibilities and real contact with the real world.
I don't know if half of them have real jobs.
Huh?
I don't know if half of them even have real jobs.
I think
paper pushers.
It's much better they do have full-time jobs and they do go out to the real world. I don't think so,
because it's really, really busy. You have to study the papers. You really don't have the time.
Then they're making just decisions, rash decisions. They don't have the time to study the legislation and the laws.
That's why they have the committee system, isn't it?
Look at one Yuk-man, and he has to go to on TV station to talk about the World Cup, and without the time, that's why he couldn't go to the meeting.
But he was able to write out 18,000 amendments.
Yeah.
How the hell is he doing that?
I don't know.
He gets his assistants to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So but sometimes they have
researchers. Yes.
I do think that they should do it full time because it's really busy.
I don't agree. Yeah. Or at least some of them are only doing part-time work outside, and that's okay. That still gives them enough time to study legislation and stuff. But if they're full-time lawyers and stuff, some of them are full-time lawyers. I mean, you have to do all the legal work and then come to your other job.
But I think most work, like I don't think Audrey Yu or Alan Leung or Ronnie Tong, they now they don't really take on a lot of cases anymore. So.
I know. No, I remember reading that Albert Ho was still doing his full-time practice.
It's because he's a solicitor. He can assign to other solicitors in the same firm.
Still,
he doesn't really do anything. He just sign.
I don't think that first of all, I also don't believe in career politicians. I think there should be a limit on legislators, like maybe having 3 terms max.
But at least you know that Albert Chan he got too much time. At least he had time to flip through these gorgeous girls' picture inside the meeting, during the meeting.
So maybe he does have a lot of time in his hands. All right. And now I guess we'll move on to China. Xi Jinping, the president, has been on this anti-corruption crusade over in China, saying that he's going to go after the flies and the tigers, meeting the low-level people and the high-level people. And he's gotten some pretty high-level people in the army caught up in this net of anti-corruption that he's putting on the country. But is it really an anti-corruption drive, or is he just purging people that he doesn't feel that has his full loyalty?
It must be about power struggle for the CCP. Always about power struggle there.
Yeah, because because when you don't have rule of law, all decree can come from the top level of the Communist Party to the judges. This is how you're going to rule, and they have to say yes, sir. This is what you're going to hand down. Yes, sir. So they can indict a ham sandwich and say that's it's corrupt, and they'll say yes, sir.
One thing seriously affected Hong Kong was that during these holidays in China last month, the number of tourists from mainland actually decreased a lot because people say that because of this corruption.
How did we just jump into that?
Huh?
How did we just jump into that?
We are talking about the corruption. We're still talking about the corruption. They are still of this anti-corruption thing.
Okay, I know where you're going with this.
A lot of people they don't want to come to Hong Kong, or they don't have the money, or they couldn't come to Hong Kong to spend their money.
And again, retail sales for again were low. And where was the biggest hit? Luxury gold and watches.
Exactly.
That they use to launder their money or give as expensive quote unquote gifts back home. And I have no sympathy for these jewelry stores or whatever. It's the nature of the beast. This is economics. And some stuff will go up, some stuff will go down. It's a cycle.
I super hate these LED lights of this pharmacy as well. I wish
these annoying lights. Yeah, I mean that's where the spending is going now, into everyday items instead of luxury items. And to be honest, I'm not going to shed a tear if I see a lot of luxury shops suddenly closing down on Nathan Road and Canton Road, because I don't think we need 4 Chow Tai Fook jewelry shops
on the same road.
No, not even the same road, across each other on the road.
It's like 7-Eleven now.
It's worse than 7-Eleven.
We are that rich.
It's more. I think there are more gold shops than there are 7-Elevens in the city.
Are you hungry? Well, let's go buy some gold to eat.
Yeah, there you go. And that's why the retail sales are down, because they're crapping their pants that they might be caught. And because anybody, even if you're the cleanest person in the world, but if you're like, I don't agree with Xi Jinping's policy on this, that's some subversive talk there, you're going to jail for corruption or adultery is the new thing. And yeah, of course the corrupt elements should be taken out of any country to give more legitimacy to the to the government and to the legal system and to business and whatever. But I don't buy it. I don't buy it's a real corruption drive. I think it's more of a purge, because suddenly Xi Jinping's doing one thing that his predecessors didn't, and that's get the loyalty of the army, like an iron fist loyalty. Well, what is it for? That's probably the biggest question. Why now? Why this purge? What is he gearing up for? Why does he need this loyalty, this hardcore loyalty? Is there something coming down the road that he needs this control for? That's a question.
I think he's a control freak.
Oh yeah, it's communism. Of course, it's going to be a control freak.
But look at this internet thing recently. They blocked a lot of application from the mobile phone, like Line.
Who did?
China.
Oh yeah, didn't they just shut down Line?
Yeah. And OneDrive as well. And of course, this cyber war between America and China.
But Line is a Japanese company.
Yes.
Oh, then they got their problems with them.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Was it a permanent shutdown or just a one-day blockage?
No, it's a permanent block.
Permanent block online?
Yes.
Another instant messenger called Kakao from Korea as well. It got blocked as well.
Oh, that's strange.
Yeah.
Considering that Xi Jinping's over there trying to be nicey nice with them. So, I think there's something going on with this corruption. drive, I don't think it has anything to do with corruption. I think it's lining up positions of power that he can trust for something. I don't know what that is.
I still support they doing it so that we don't have so much tourists doing the money laundering here.
Yeah, that's there's a benefit to this for us. But it could be to this. Japan reinterpreted their constitution from a pacifist constitution to now a constitution where they can engage militarily. This reminds me of World War II all over again because, look, the same thing happened in World War II where Japan now is saying that if our ally gets attacked, we can respond. That happened in World War II as well, where France and I could have been England, I'm not sure, said that if you attack... I might, it's not coming to me right now, but if you attack this country, we must respond, and that's how World War II just ratcheted up. Same thing is happening right now. There are proxy wars going on all over the world right now.
But
conflicts, proxy wars, and
but who in Asia then who will ally with Japan?
The United States and Philippines.
That's quite far away though. Japan and Philippines.
But you can see that China's surrounded from Korea, Japan, Taiwan, and the Philippines. So if they have an alliance against China and the United States...
They call it the island chain, is it? But in Cantonese, they call it the first island chain. Okay. In Asia, that imposed by U.S., I say that just like what you said, and they surround China. And you can now one thing about Japan and Korea is that they're not South Korea and they're not very in good terms. And
they can take out North Korea anytime they like. They like them there. The United States likes this like brat, of a country because they can take them out. Kim Jong-un is a hell of a lot worse than other dictators that they've taken out. I mean, this guy should have been his grandfather should have been taken out a long time ago. If we were following this benevolence, let's bring democracy and freedom to everybody.
I think recently he threatened United States because of a comedy movie.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
I mean, it's just ridiculous.
He threatened the UK because there was a picture of his haircut in
a
barber shop in
right.
London.
yes. He's threatening everyone.
See, why I don't understand your logic there. Why is it in the US's interest to keep North Korea going? I can see why it's in China's interest. I understand that, but why in the US?
Because it allows them to be in the region, to say we are here for the security of South Korea. We're here for the security of Japan from North Korea, and they want to keep them that way until they don't no longer need them, and then they'll just overthrow them.
Well, they could do that anyway, though, couldn't they? Because they got bases in Okinawa.
But this gives them a really legitimate reason to be there. We gotta rein in this belligerent axis of evil country. And that's why we need all these bases in Japan and Korea.
But I don't think they could swat North Korea without there being considerable damage to Seoul. That's the reason why they can't do it. They could take them out pretty quickly, but then the collateral damage to Seoul would be immense.
I think one tactical nuclear strike into Pyongyang is all it's going to take. There's nothing else around that country.
But usually people, I think in the 90s, people still thinking that China would be the one who keep the eyes on this North Korea. But nowadays...
China just does it because they have to. They have this relationship. But to be honest, with Xi Jinping visiting South Korea first over North Korea, you can tell right now they're like... To be honest, we don't even want to be friends with them.
Yeah, North Korea actually said that China now is an evil state.
There you go.
Did it say that?
There you go.
Kim Jong-un.
They know that they're playing the.
I have his haircut.
Yeah, no, you don't. Geopolitically, it's really expedient for North Korea to be around for Japan, United States. They can use them always as be afraid of North Korea, a big boogeyman, and that we need our big military for, and we need engagement and stuff like that. But what I'm worried about is that the parallels to the beginning of World War II, where suddenly they started doing deals, you attack them, we attack you kind of thing, and hopefully it doesn't
But who would
escalate.
What about China then? Who would be the ally of China in Asia?
Russia.
They're quite far away though.
Well, not really, they border them.
But they don't really in a good terms nowadays.
I expect in the next 5 years for Russian ships to be porting in Chinese ports. I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
That's a bold
Yeah,
statement.
trust me. In the next 5 years, you're going to see Russian warships porting in Chinese military ports. And
that would be near Japan.
Probably near Japan, or probably at around. There's so many ports around.
Yeah, I think
China
Japan also has a fight with Russia because of an island.
Yeah. But
up
that's it's not like a big deal right now. But that alliance is going to solidify probably more and more over the next decade. Definitely.
But
over
their
the next
focus
5 years.
never in Asia, Russia. I mean,
Now it has to be, because the United States is here. Now that the United States and NATO have made them the new enemy again, Cold War Part 2, then they have to respond, have their armies around the world, and Syria is a proxy war.
So what's the role of Hong Kong in this
Hopefully,
Cold War number 2?
I just hope people don't get into a nationalistic fervor and start saying, bomb the hell out of whoever, support the motherland. You don't want to support war because it doesn't benefit the people. It only benefits people who are going to make big time money and get more power out of it. You got to read this book called How Wall Street Financed World War II, and how Wall Street financed the Bolshevik Revolution, and it's all declassified stuff from the US and Canada, and you're just like, oh my God, they were funding both sides of the war, and they made tons of money from it.
As we said, we talked about that last week. Whenever China declares war on anyone, then they can implement the national security law in Hong Kong. That's quite important.
And plus, it's a great distraction from a lot of their domestic problems, because there are ghost cities everywhere. The environment is a mess. People they're more and more. There's more and more civil unrest happening all the time. It's small skirmishes, but it's happening because people are getting sick and tired of being oppressed. You can only keep people down so long. Eventually, they yearn for that freedom.
Yeah.
Right? And now they're using terrorism in China as the excuse to put cops every 20 meters, in Beijing and all over the place. It's just an excuse. They just put away I don't know how many people in jail and arrested so many people in Xinjiang because of terrorism. Who they can just point at some guy who's selling fruit and say, you're a terrorist, you look like one, you're coming with us, and they have no way to really defend themselves. There's no rule of law. There's rule of man, there's rule of the party, but there's no rule of law. They say there's rule of law, but let's be honest, it's the rule of the Communist Party.
Right.
And I just hope it doesn't escalate, because there are domestic problems in Japan with the 20-year stagflation. Their new money printing scheme isn't working really. It's just causes more inflation. China has its own issues, and the United States loves conflict because they can sell more weapons for their military industrial complex. I mean, everybody's making money except the common people. We're the ones who are going to get screwed.
Yeah, it was reported on the news that a Japanese guy who was standing over the bridge, and he set himself on fire
because
to go
of this
against
change.
to go against the change of the Constitution.
Right. So it's not like the Japanese wholeheartedly support it, but there are going to be elements that are saying if you don't support this, you are pro-China, or you're a traitor, or you're not a patriot. And there's been a lot of talk about patriotism these days, especially in this city. And, of course, that's subjective. Patriotism means different things for everybody.
True.
And, we're coming around the hour, and I think it's a good place to end it. So thank you, Lee, for sitting in today.
Yeah, thank you, Lee.
Thank you for inviting me.
It was wonderful. And some good news. We're on iTunes.
Oh, good.
We are now officially on iTunes. So
no wonder you don't allow me to speak.
Yeah, I wanted to announce it. I wanted to announce it on the show. We are now on iTunes, so it's even easier to get our show onto your iPhone. Just go to iTunes and search the letter I, on Hong Kong, and it'll come up. It should be the first search result. And just click on it, and it'll open up the podcast app, and you just say yes and subscribe to it. So whenever we upload a new episode, it'll just show up onto your phone. You don't have to do anything. And just download it or stream it and take a listen. And, of course, visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/I on HK Pod. That's the letter I on HK Pod. And you can comment there. We also put up stories from other outlets. We want to push English media in the city as much as we can. We post articles from the SCMP, from the Standard, from the Real Hong Kong News. It's a good blogger, and Hong Rong, and a lot of Lady Kylie. There's a lot of bloggers out there that are doing a wonderful job. And I think if we help each other, we can all grow together.
Yeah.
So I have no problem promoting other people for free because I'm using their material to get the word out.
Right.
So hopefully they will also promote our podcast to get, our word out through, because let's be honest, RTHK does not serve
Right.
the needs of the English-speaking Hong Kong community anymore. It sounds very archaic whenever I listen to it.
If possible, probably in future we'll invite some guests.
We're trying to line some up, and of course, scheduling is the issue mostly for guests. And hopefully, next episode, the episode after that, we will have our first official.
No, we have the first official guest today.
Yeah, I guess we have our first official guest.
Oh, I'm flattered. I'm very flattered.
Thank you so much again for letting us use your studio.
You're very welcome. Anytime.
I love this cozy little setting.
Yeah.
And you can, of course, directly download the podcast at the letter I on HK .podbean, BEAN, like a jelly bean.com. And I forgot to put up the last episode on YouTube. I apologize. It will be up as well as this episode, youtube.com/I on HK. And that's all for this week. Until next week, this is Harminder.
This is Heat. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We forgot one thing.
Right.
It's our Shame on You award. We cannot forget this. I mean, we'll come back in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. to record it if we have to give this award. It's so important. And I nominate Raymond Wong Yuk-man for this award because physical violence should be condemned, offensive physical violence. And then afterwards, he's acting like a big shot gangster outside with the reporters being,
Okay.
Relax, dude. Drink decaf. So I'm sorry, Raymond Wong. As much as I support the Pandems, I don't support violence by anybody. And so you have received the
Shame on you
award.
Good.
And I expect your followers to ravage us on our Facebook
Well, I
page.
only agree on that because he didn't hit it right on.
Oh.
That's a shame.
No violence, no offensive violence. That is. I'm going to stick to that until the end of time. And okay, now it's officially the end of the show.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.